You're listening to Permission To, the podcast where we dive into the science and soul of owning your worthiness as a perfectly imperfect human being. I'm your host, Sam Dew, psychotherapist, positive psychology coach, mama to a beautiful 5-year-old Amelie, and passionate advocate for living an inspired life. My aim is to show you that you have full permission to own your worthiness so that you can embrace your true nature and begin walking boldly toward your dreams. Let's dive in. Hi beauties, I hope that you are doing so well. It's an absolute delight to be here with you today. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and I really feel like spring is hopefully finally here. Anyone in Perth, I'm sure, can relate to like the weather's been like, you kind of get these glimpses of sunshine and then it's pouring with rain, but it's just feeling really, really beautiful today. So fingers crossed the weather stays like this. And I hope wherever you are that you are nice and comfortable and cozy and ready to listen to this episode. So today I really wanted to share a question that keeps coming up is, how does working on my self-worth and working on my worthiness help me when it comes to expanding and following my hopes and dreams? And I feel like that's such a juicy question. So thank you to the person who asked that. Big shout out. I love it when you all send me through questions because self-worth can seem like this kind of abstract idea, right? And I love how self-worth is becoming quite popular. You see a lot of posts and a lot of people sharing like the words, I am enough and I am worthy and I am good enough. And I love how it's becoming more and more well known. But I don't think yet that a lot of people fully understand the way that self-worth and low self-worth can kind of show up in our lives. So if you're someone who, you notice that you're playing small in your own life, maybe you're putting up with a job that you really dread, or you're in a relationship that, isn't right for you, but, you don't feel good enough to step away from that relationship, or you keep putting off launching something like a podcast or a course, or you just keep putting the things that are important to you and meaningful to you at the bottom of your priority list. All of those things could be a sign that there's some self-worth stuff for you to work on, because when we believe that we are worthy, in its essence, worthiness is a feeling and a belief that you are enough, that you are worthy of your hopes and dreams, and also that you're important, that you are important and your needs are important. So when you work on that, when you really believe that you're enough and that you're important, and that you are worthy of your hopes and dreams, what happens is that then that sense of self-worth has a ripple effect, right? Of course, obviously, if you believe in yourself and that you are good enough, you're going to have a growth mindset. So you're going to recognize that you're not perfect. Being worthy doesn't mean you're perfect, by the way, or that you don't have a messy life. It means that you know that you're good enough regardless of what's going on in your life. Whether you're succeeding or whether you're at rock bottom, you are still enough, right? And so when we really embrace that sense of self-worth and enoughness, then what happens is that it's really rooted in this deep sense of self-trust and trusting that whatever you do, you're going to be okay because you're enough and you are worthy. And that means you know that you deserve to treat yourself with compassion and kindness when life gets hard. And when you have that, you're willing to take risks, you're willing to be brave, you're willing to launch that course that makes you feel really vulnerable, launch that podcast, step away from a job or a relationship that isn't serving you because you know that you're enough, and that your needs, your desires are important as well. And the other way that worthiness and expansion go hand in hand is that Often when we have low self-worth, there's a lot of people pleasing. There's a lot of difficulty saying no because you think that other people's needs are more important than yours. And so I'll give this little example. Let's say that you get invited to go for dinner and drinks with a friend, and you can tell that they really, really want to go out. They're super keen. Maybe they're putting a bit of pressure on you, but you are aware that you're really tired and that you just need a quiet night. Now, if you come at this from a place of self-worth, then what you're going to recognize is, hey, my needs are important. Of course, my friend and my relationships are important too, but my needs are important. And so you're going to be able to go, what do I need here? Actually, love hanging out with my friend, but tonight I really need a rest. And so you're going to be able to then communicate that and say, oh, look, not tonight. Love to catch up another week, but tonight I really need to rest. That sounds so simple, but do you know how many women struggle with that? So many, because the first sign of good self-worth is knowing that you're important and that your needs matter. But that means you need to know what you need, and you need to be able to check in and ask yourself every day, what do I need right now? How am I feeling? That paying attention to yourself, that self-awareness, is really, really key part of having good self-worth. And when you know what you need, and you know that what you need is important and that it matters, then you are able to say no. You are able to stop the people pleasing and set boundaries. So a woman who knows her worth, she says no, she sets boundaries, she makes mistakes all the time. She isn't perfect, but she knows that she's growing and that that's okay. So she has that growth mindset of, okay, so let's say you want to launch a podcast, but you don't know how to interview people, or you're not sure about the technology. You might say, I don't know how to launch this yet. That's what a growth mindset is. It's like, recognizing I'm not there yet, but I am working towards it. So yeah, growth mindset, self-trust, but most of all, that idea that I matter and I am enough. And so then also in terms of expansion, someone who is owning their self-worth is not going to be reacting all over the place with their diary. Not going to be thinking, oh, you know what, this dream's really important to me, but I don't have any space for the next 3 months to work on my dreams. They're going to be proactive. They're going to look at their diary, even if you're thinking about for next year, and they're going to go, right, this dream of mine is really important, so I'm going to schedule in an hour a day or 10 minutes a day or 1 day a week, whatever it is that you can find in your diary to prioritize you and your hopes and your dreams. That is another sign of worthiness, of knowing that you matter and that you're enough. The other side of expansion and self-worth is that real you are enough. And that's about also, I am already good enough to do what I want to do. If you have a dream, if there's something that's really important to you and it keeps coming up, there's a reason why that idea is in your mind. There is a reason why that dream is there. And if you follow the breadcrumbs of what your heart is telling you to do, and you believe in yourself and that you are good enough, then you're going to have so much more of a chance of making that come to light than if you just keep ignoring it, or if you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not loud enough, I'm not confident enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't know enough. All of that not enoughness stuff is obviously going to get in the way of the expansion. So the other part of worthiness is actually really focusing inwardly on what you know about yourself, what you know to be true, that is good and gracious. And, it might be, celebrating your strengths. What, I'm really gentle. I'm not the loudest person in the room. I'm not going to come across as the most, confident, but I'm a really good listener. Or I'm really gentle. Or actually, I've got like 10 years life experience with this challenge, that I want to support others with. And like, that's a lot. I already have a lot to offer. So instead of looking at what you don't know and how you don't know enough and all of telling yourself that you don't know enough, look at what you already do know and how you already are enough. So that in a nutshell, I hope that explains how self-worth and expansion combine. I personally don't think that it's really possible to take action on your dreams and to chase after your dreams unless you're coming at it from a deep place of self-worth. And that doesn't mean that there are not leaders out there. I have coached CEOs of large companies who still experience low self-worth and self-doubt, but they get support to navigate themselves through that. They don't just stay in that place of not feeling good enough. They move through it quickly. So I guess that's an invitation for you today. Are you getting stuck in a feeling of not being important, not mattering, or not being good enough? And is there a way that you could move through that? And what would your life look like, and how different would it look if you were able to move through that quickly rather than kind of staying in it? And if you're someone who keeps putting off your dreams, putting off your goals, maybe you've got a business idea or something that you want to do in your life, and you just keep putting it off, not prioritizing it, then this is your invitation to come and join me for Worthy to Expand this year. We've got 6 weeks of powerful group coaching. We're going to be really, really focusing on the inner work so that you can expand. And that's going to include self-worth and really understanding yourself, your mindset, the way you talk to yourself, the way you treat yourself. And so, the doors are closing really, really soon. But if you're listening and you're keen, send me an email, send me a DM, and we can chat. And I would love to welcome you into this experience. And I will see you for next week's episode. Mwah.